Yep. Perfect.
Excellent.
So, I was gonna ask you of all of the partner Bakugan, without being biased, which one is your favorite or your least favorite? Like from all the Guardian Bakugan we have, I prefer Master Ingram. I thought he was the coolest. Um, I thought he was the sleekest looking one. I'm not being biased here. I just really think our Master Ingram is the coolest looking one.
Yeah, yeah. You mean out of all the guys that I've played?
No, out of all the guys in New Vestroya.
Oh boy, New Vestroya. I mean, look, Ingram. Ingram was a cool dude. I mean, look, I'm going to be super biased because I like, I like my guys, right? Because my guys always thought were like super cool and everything. Like, I was like, look, I remember Drewman. I always thought Drewman was like really, like a cool looking Bakugan. I always thought that he was like super dope. Oh man, like like it's really hard to choose because I know that me myself, like 100%, like I'd be biased. And look, I know you're down, with Master Ingram. So I know you think Master Ingram's a cool dude. So you know what, man? Like I love Ingram. Ingram's like he's a cool guy. Like I love him. And he was great on that season. So yeah, I'm happy to say because I can't even answer. I like my guys the best. So Ingram FTW for the win.
Armored in test mode. Activate Shadow Wing.
That's right. That's right. Oh man, there's just so much good stuff. Like so much good stuff. Yeah, no, 100%.
So going to Aquamos, how is Aquamos different from Praise and Elfin in terms of their partnership with Marucho?
I just think he had a more of a he had a loose. He wasn't so serious, and that I thought was just a nice change from from a lot of the other guys, right? Because everything is usually it can be kind of maybe it gets kind of dour, maybe it gets kind of serious, and Aquamos, I always had this feeling he's just trying to stay alive, right? Like, whoa, cool as a real, like he's just trying to make it. He's just trying to sort of keep himself from getting killed. So I always so I like that he had sort of a loose energy to him, that he had like a fun energy to him. I mean, look, he's night and day or I think he's night and day from Ingram, right? Certainly from from Drewman. He's just getting rolled out there and he's just trying to make his mark, right? Like I always thought he kind of had like a fun way. He's just trying to show he can hang, right? Like, hey man, I'm a cool dude. I'm just showing you I can hang. I'm just showing you that I can be a part of the fun too. Let's go. It's just like, oh no, what's happening? It's like, all right. So he was very, very cool that way. So I like the fact that he didn't have, say, the built-in confidence, I think, of those other guys, but he was cocky in his own kind of fun, cool way.
Yeah.
So I thought Aquamos was he was so much fun to play and just so different, I thought. So I really like that about him. So I like, that's what I loved about him.
I always thought Praise was more of a father figure to Marucho, because there was the episode where Praise evolved, and in that episode we delved into Marucho's past, and we know that he was always a yes man to his parents, and then he met Preyas, and I feel like Preyas really, really really wanted to protect Marucho with his life. And to me, Aquamos was sort of like a brother to Marucho, if that makes sense.
For sure. Very friendly, kind of had he had a caring, like a caring energy to him, I think. Like, I think that's fair to say, right?
Yep.
He's looking out for him. And those are the sorts of themes that, you're kind of glad that you as a viewer or a fan can sort of feel that you can sort of sense it and everything, right? Because, a lot of times you don't have that so much where that they care about each other, or that there's maybe even like a love for each other, right? You're just so used to everybody just trying to knock somebody off, but he definitely had that sort of, fraternal. I think it'd be like a fraternal energy to him and stuff, right? Which was cool. Aquamos was a good dude.
Mhm.
I'm getting
Who
choked up. I'm getting choked up just thinking about Aquamos. I'm getting choked up.
who came up with Aquamos's catchphrase? Cool's the rule, dude.
They had that ready to go. And I remember the director, they were so excited when I went in for the first record, because they had written that in, that was in the script, and they're like, oh man, Joe, I just picture this guy selling all kinds of toys. Like, I can't wait to get this guy going, right? And they were just so pumped about the way he looked and the way he sounded, and and I knew that they had pictured me to do it. That's why they gave me Aquamos, because they're like, yeah, Joe, it'll be a lot of Joe's natural energy, and it will just dovetail nicely with the character. So I remember that was like the first thing. Director was like, oh man, cool's the rule, dude. Like, we can't stop saying that in the office. Like, I'm like, oh yeah. Like, yeah, Joe, so you got to bring this to life. I'm like, all right, man, we'll get it done. Cool's the rule, dude. Cool's the rule, dude.
I can't imagine you voicing like Hawk Door. I feel like that Brian Froud was a good fit for that character, and Aquamos does bring out your energy. I saw you on a show called Ice Cold Cash.
Yeah, Ice Cold Cash. That's right.
And I thought you were a great person. And then a couple of years ago, I was like just reading some Bakugan stuff. I'm like, hold up, like Kanye West from South Park. Hold up. Master Ingram and Joe Motiki and Aquamos were voiced by Joe Motiki. Like, wait, the same guy from Ice Cold Cash? No way.
That's right. That's exactly right. I mean, look, I've been pretty lucky. I mean, when I got into television originally, I was a host. So, because that was always sort of the I've got a natural energy that sort of works well with hosting. So, when I first started, I started doing a late night phone-in show at TVO called What, and then after that, I hosted 4 years of TVO Kids, which is the after school block of children's programs on TVO. So I would introduce like Arthur and Magic School Bus and Kratz Creatures and all these fun shows. So it was, and of course, I've just always been sort of an energetic guy. So I think the hosting, I've always had a chance to do it. It's always been fun. But there are people when they watch me doing my hosting stuff, and they're like, yeah, you know what? I could hear a little bit of that character in you when you were saying that, right? And I'm like, yeah, man, because whether I'm saying cool as a rule, dude, or I'm saying you just won $1,280, it's, you're still trying to bring the sort of the best performance parts of yourself, right? And just, look, this is the great thing about what I get to do for a living, Jason. It's, and I've said fun a lot in the, in our chat, but it's, I always said I want to do something with my life that I enjoy, right? And that I can always go to work and that I'm always enjoying it. I'm always having a good time. And, and you get to, do things and satisfy yourself creatively, but it never just feels like a 9 to 5, or it never just feels like it's boring, right? And, knock on wood, it's been the stuff that I've been able to do. I get to do stuff which is sort of an extension of me, right? So, when I'm hosting Ice Cold Cash, that's a lot of fun because it's just me hoping that people can make as much money as they can. And if I'm playing Aquamos, I get to take his energy and I just get to have fun with him and enjoy him and stuff. And, when you think of your favorite actors in movies or television or whatever it might be, a lot of times they'll say, oh man, that guy's the same in every movie. And it's like, yeah, maybe, but that's why you like him. That's why you keep going to see his movies, or why you keep going to see his shows, because you enjoy that energy, right? That you enjoy that sort of, look, what's this? Robert Downey Jr. is probably not that far removed from Tony Stark, right? Tony Stark is probably much more confident than Robert Downey Jr., but Robert Downey Jr. just brings out the cockiest part of himself to play that, but it's him. And, how many times was Robert Downey Jr.? Did he play Tony Stark 9 times? Like, from all the different movies between the Avengers movies, the Iron Man movies, the Spider-Man movies, he probably played them at least like 9, 10. and he's always the same, and he's always giving you more of the same, but you like it. And once you find something you like, it's like, all right, man, you try to tap into that. So that was a long answer, but yeah, the ice cold cash guy is also a Bakugan guy. That's exactly
That would
right.
explain why you replaced Ron Pardo as the announcer, because Ron Pardo, I feel he was just using his Kato voice for the announcer in Bakugan Interspace.
Oh, that's interesting. I mean, look, Ron's a super cool dude, and that guy I've had a chance to do. We've worked on different shows together and everything. So he's like that guy's a really great guy. We did some well, what do you call it, like loop group stuff on a movie. So that's just like all the sort of background voices that you might hear in the scene. So you've got your main actors that are doing their thing, but then say if it's a hospital, when you hear all the sounds, Dr. Smith, could you please come to room 117, Dr. Smith? Just all of that stuff that fills up the background. And I remember doing a couple of movies with Ron Pardo, and he's really quick, right? So we're a couple of fast guys that can ad lib and improv pretty good. So we would sit there and joke around with each other, when we're just having these conversations in the background that nobody can hear except for us. But we just sit there. Yeah, man, I don't know what happened on that test. That was pretty crazy. Well, I think we've got to make sure that we study a little bit harder. Yeah, exactly, man. Like, school's gonna be crazy tomorrow, and just stuff that nobody will hear, but it fills up the background. So Ron Pardo's a cool dude. But yeah, 100%. You use these voices from project to project. You do your best. It's funny.
And to be fair to Ron Pardo, Cordum, before he got brainwashed by Kazarina, is my I would say favorite character in Gundalian Invaders.
All right, nice. Yeah, Ron Pardo. Yeah, he is cool. He's a good dude, and he's a really really strong performer. He's on point, which is great.
And people like I've spoken to a lot of people, and they've heard me do some acting while I work, and one of the voices that they can't get out of their head is the Venom voice. Hunter, I'm hungry. Please turn the food.
Nice work,
like Tom Hardy.
Nice work.
He says on Tom Hardy without the voice filter, but it does hurt the throat.
Yeah, it does. It does. Look, that's one of the things, when you're giving it out of character, you got to give everything you got, and your voice can get pretty scratchy. I drink lemon tea with honey like it's going out of style, just to keep my throat smooth. But you sounded good, man. Good work. That's awesome.
Boy, thank you. Oh no, I'm hungry and I need my brains. Where's
Nice.
my chocolate?
Nice. Bravo, Jason. Bravo. That's good stuff. Excellent. Oh man, that's fun. That's a good time. No, man, that's great. Do you want to do voice acting at some point in the future, do you think?
I would love to do voice acting. I think I can bring a lot to it, because people with Asperger's, we tend to imitate people we see on television. So, for example, why would I fire 2 tables at once? Come here, you. I'm tired. I'm done. Get out. Get out. Get.
Hey, that's awesome. Yo, man, you got to go on Canada's Got Talent. You can do another season of that. You got to do some Canada's Got Talent. Go on there and do your stuff.
I would love to, but like I can't even find a voice acting job because I live in Montreal, and for some reason, I haven't been led to any voice recording studios or any of that. And I would love to project my voice, because I think a lot, because my coworkers at work love it, and they think I should totally do the Venom voice on maybe Venom or even some other character who needs a scratchy throat.
There you go. That's right. Well, look, the great thing about like the internet is that you can, take your stuff and perform, and you can just make little projects and, and put them on YouTube for people to enjoy. Right. Mm-hmm. And even that is like a way where then people, like say you just, put a little animation together and throw your voice on there and make a little short story or whatever. And then, you can send that out to people, and people can just go and check out your link and they can enjoy your performance. Right. So that's one of the good things about like, just sort of the way that way entertainment is right now. Like you can just you can put art online and people can just enjoy it, which is super cool. But I mean,
Yeah.
look, finish school first, right? I mean, look, you got your whole life to do voices and everything. So, finish school first, get your stuff done, and then, world's your oyster.
But one thing I would avoid is like completely copying an original actor's performance, because the because when I did my interview with Gary Chalk, we took a lot of pot shots at Netflix's Transformers War for Cybertron trilogy, and especially Jake Fusey's performance, where he just straight up imitated Peter Cullen, and we were wondering why didn't Netflix just get the real Peter Cullen to voice him instead of hiring a cheap knockoff.
It's always an interesting decision, right? Like just go get like Peter's around, like he's sitting, he's more than happy to be a part of the fun. Like just go get him. There are times when when they'll say they want you to act like somebody, like they'll say they want a Leonardo DiCaprio type or they want a Ryan Reynolds type, and I'm like, just go get Ryan Reynolds, man. Like just go get him. Spend the money, go get him. But if you're always trying, I think as a performer, that you want to sort of bring something original to things, right? Or at least you hope you are. So it's but yeah, man, just go get Peter Collins. Just go get him.
It's
all
why
he wants to do is play.
David K. It's why people like David K. as Optimus Prime in Transformers Animated, because he didn't imitate Peter Cullen. He didn't imitate Beast Wars Megatron. He just used his natural voice for a younger sounding Optimus. That's why people like Gary Chalk, because Gary Chalk didn't even imitate Peter Cullen. He said he's never even heard of Peter Cullen. He did his own like more militaristic take on Optimus Primal, and then he did the same thing for Optimus Prime, and people loved him for that.
Yeah. I think people always like it when you try to bring something new or something original to a character. And look, that as a viewer and as a fan, you like a fresh take sometimes, right? Like, okay, I know Peter Cullen. If I want Peter Cullen, I'll get Peter Cullen. What are you going to do? What are you going to bring? And look, we as actors, we find that a lot where, there's a lot of times, Jason, I go into an audition for something and they say they want something like that. They want A or B. And I'm like, look, there's going to be 30 people that are going to come in here and give you A or B. So I'm going to give you C. And if I do C as best as possible, maybe you go, you know what? We got a lot of those A's and B's, but I liked Joe's C. So, instead of being like 30 guys that are going to do Peter Cullen, you go in there and do your Jason Lamb or do your Joseph Motiki. And then they go, okay, well, you know what? That stuck out. And if they like what you were doing, that's where magic happens, right? So yeah, getting an original take on something it's fresh, it's refreshing, and it's fresh. You always like that fresh take. So yeah, good on David K. That's the way to do it, right? Like just give him something new, try to give him something different. 100%.
Yeah, I mean, David Sobolov, whom I also interviewed, he said that he never even paid attention to Corey Burton's performance as Shockwave because he knew that his performance as Shockwave was so iconic that he had to do his own take on Shockwave with a much deeper voice, and without a British accent.
Yep, exactly right. That's why I try not to watch too much of, even like with Bakugan, I try not to watch too much of the series because I want to be able to go into auditions with fresh ideas. And sometimes if you get the tone of the show, then maybe you're just going to do what everybody else is doing. So like even the announcer on Battle Planet, where I'm just like, you know what, man, I'm going to try just kind of make them just like me, and just and maybe just sound like a guy having fun, as opposed to like a total knockoff of a play-by-play commentator. So original ideas and original takes, they can take you far, which is good.
Yeah
100%.
So I understand you don't have much time left, so I'm gonna stop the recording. But I do have one favor I'd like you to do for me and my Legacy Brawlers. It's a personal. It's really for the team, because we're always sorry. I'm recovering from a flu, but
yeah, no problem.
We're always playing Bakugan together, and we're always celebrating as a team. So I'm gonna stop the recording right now. I'm gonna